Welcome back to Straight Facts by Dinar Investor.
Opposition invites Abdul Mahdi on the Ministry of Education. Ahmed 1102 September 15, 2019. Information Baghdad. Parliamentary Wisdom Movement MP Hassan Fatah on Sunday called on Prime Minister Adel Abdel Mahdi to integrate the Ministry of Education with Education and assign responsibility to the Minister of Education Qusay al-Suhail. He said in a statement to the Information that all names submitted to education names are meager and linked to the person Dagger and will not allow the acceptance of any figure nominated by the party or bloc Dagger. He added, "We have called on Prime Minister Adel Abdul Mahdi to choose an independent and impartial figure for education away from political quotas. And we also called for the integration of education with education and to assign responsibility to the person of the Minister of Education," the deputy of the Alliance of Forces Zaytun al-Dulaimi revealed in a statement to the Information. On Sunday, the failure of its coalition talks on consensus on a candidate for the Ministry of Education, calling on Prime Minister Adel Abdul Mahdi to take the initiative in resolving the nomination. Learn about the decisions of Al-Bausi meeting with heads of parliamentary blocs. Third, approaching the government to send the following laws. 1. The Retirement and Social Security Law. 2. A law to address the housing crisis. 3. Oil and gas law. 4. Law of the Reconstruction Council. The federal budget law for the year 2020. British Bank expects Brent crude oil prices to reach $65 September 14, 2019. British investment bank Barclays expects Brent crude to average $65 in the remaining months of 2019 and in 2020, down from its previous estimate of $69. Brent crude oil prices are expected to average $65 in 2019 to 2020, with average U.S. crude prices estimated at $58 a barrel in 2019 and $60 in 2020, the bank said. Trade tensions and slowing manufacturing activity continue to affect demand, he said. The bank cut its forecast for global oil demand growth by 200,000 BPD for both current and next year to 800,000 BPD and 1.3 million BPD respectively. Said Barclays that although oil prices have been affected by the escalation of trade tensions, but the supply and demand fundamentals remain supportive of prices to a large extent. Growth in U.S. oil production is slowing considerably as lower commodity prices are expected to affect capital spending. And Barclays is a multinational British company specializing in the investment and financial services based in London, and regulates the Bank of Barclays and 4 major companies: personal banking and corporate banking, wealth management and investment management. Trump confirms the killing of Hamza bin Laden September 14, 2019. U.S. President Donald Trump on Saturday confirmed the death of Hamza bin Laden after U.S. officials announced in July that he had been killed in an intelligence operation. According to Sky News Arabia, Trump confirms the killing of Hamza bin Laden during the operation to combat terrorism on the Afghan-Pakistan border. On July 31, 2019, U.S. officials announced that Hamza bin Laden, the son of al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden, was killed in a U.S. intelligence operation. Abdul Mahdi is discussing the electricity file with the heads of German companies Siemens and ACWA Power Saudi Arabia and the U.S. GE. Posted by Walters September 15, 2019. Baghdad Al-Ghad Press. Prime Minister Adel Abdul Mahdi on Sunday discussed with the heads of Germany's Siemens, ACWA Power and the U.S. company GE, ways to achieve stable electricity in Iraq next summer. Mahdi met with the heads of Germany's Siemens, ACWA Power and GE, each in private, Abdul Mahdi's media office said in a press release. The roadmap of the electricity sector was followed up with Siemens chairman Joe Kaiser and its commitments to achieve stable electricity before next summer, he said. The president of ACWA Power Mohammed Abdullah Abu Nahyan expressed the keenness of the Saudi leadership to strengthen the relationship with Iraq and convey the greetings of the custodian of the 2 holy mosques and the crown prince. The prime minister also discussed with GE, John Rice, and the head of GE Middle East, Joe Ennis, in the presence of the U.S. ambassador in Baghdad, the commitments made by the company to provide new and continuous energies, and that the chairman of the board of directors expressed his desire to cooperate and partnership with Iraq and work on the supply of energy and meet the needs of citizens, adding that attended the meetings of the Minister of Electricity and Economic Advisor to the Prime Minister. Abdul Mahdi is making a forthcoming visit to China to sign 30 memorandums of understanding. Posted by Walters September 15, 2019. Money and Business. Economy News. Baghdad. Prime Minister Adel Abdul Mahdi is to visit China on September 19 to sign about 30 major memorandums of understanding between Baghdad and Beijing. The agreements will cover construction, services, trade and industry. The Iraqi Foreign Ministry said last week that the Department of Asia and Australia and the ministry organized a consultative meeting for a number of representatives of Iraqi ministries and institutions, highlighting that discussed the reached on the memorandums of understanding and agreements, which are expected to be signed during the visit of Prime Minister Adel Abdul Mahdi of the People's Republic of China at the end of this month. In an interview with Al-Sharq Al-Awsat newspaper and consulted by Al-Iqtisad Al-Awsat, advisor to Prime Minister Abdul Hussein Al-Hunayn said that Abdul Mahdi will head to China on 19 of this month at the head of a large delegation, characterized by clear economic features, including ministers, advisors, and businessmen. Al-Hunayn said that the program of the next visit and economic files, carried by the Prime Minister, includes major projects in roads and transport, services, education, health and other, pointing out that the Iraqi and Chinese sides have prepared well for the visit in the past months, through continuous meetings with companies Greater China, and complete the funding model through the Iraqi-Chinese Joint Reconstruction Fund. Al-Hunayn expects to sign during the visit contracts and major agreements in the sectors of industry and agriculture, construction of schools, hospitals, housing, roads, trains, and bridges, preparing that the visit falls within the philosophy of the Prime Minister in opening up to the world, and that Iraq, friend of all, and an influential factor in the world, it is a bridge between all the different. The Prime Minister's advisor noted that China will not be the last in this deal. There is a large trend towards the United States to sign major contracts ready with U.S. companies, such as ExxonMobil, GI, and others. In addition, Iraq opened its doors to its neighbors to work and invest in it. On top of these countries, Saudi Arabia and Iran, Turkey and the Gulf countries, and Jordan. A large delegation of members of the ruling Communist Party of China CPC visited Baghdad in April to discuss Chinese investments in the reconstruction of liberated areas, and met with Iraqi officials and discussed with them coordination of Iraqi-Chinese cooperation in the fields of reconstruction, security and economy. China welcomed the upcoming visit of Prime Minister Adel Abdul Mahdi to Beijing. The visit to make joint efforts, hand in hand with the Iraqi side, in order to consolidate and deepen the political mutual trust Sino-Iraqi increasingly. Tao also expressed his hope that the visit of Prime Minister Adel Abdul Mahdi will enhance mutual cooperation in various fields, enhance human and cultural communication between the two friendly countries, and participate in shaping future plans for China-Iraq strategic partnership relations.